Ain't nothing worse than a smart dumb.
Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey
That's cool. All right, welcome to another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. I'm very excited with this episode. I'm joined by Jessica of Audacity Magazine. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so as I do all the time, I want to give the guests the opportunity just to, 15, 30-second, minute, whatever, just introduction of yourself. Let them know who
All
you
right. All right, cool. Elevator pitch, can do. So hi, I'm Jessica Wise. I'm the owner of Audacity Magazine and Events in Atlanta, Georgia. But our reach is national. That's audacitymagazine.org. We are an e-magazine and events platform where we create career and lifestyle content designed to help millennials elevate their careers. And we host networking events like the one that we have coming up on June 3rd, which is our 4th anniversary. Our official anniversary is on June the 1st, but our event will be on June 3rd here in Decatur, Georgia at Independent Distilling.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's basically what it is. Like you pretty much always have had the actual event, the anniversary event on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's the idea,
Okay.
kind of set up to make it nice and easy, make people want to come out more and everything, I feel like sometimes having an event during the week, there's like an inherent pressure to get people to uproot themselves after they've had a long day at work to come out to an event. And we really want to get y'all at the best, at your very, very best, which tends to be on Saturday after a couple of drinks.
There, there it is. That's like,
Distillery, so
let's go. Right. There you go. I was going to say, there you go. Marketing and setting it up in the best possible position. I like it. So that's how I met you last year on the 3rd anniversary.
Yep.
Happened to be in Atlanta at the right time. It was a very good event. And so we were actually, I'm going to bring it up. We were talking off camera. And it's like, I'm asking you how you feeling about this year's. And you said, less stressed than you were last year, even though the way it went, I would have never known there was anything to be stressed about. So just in general, what is it about hosting an event that just does this no matter what? Have you done I'm sorry, Rick, have you done an anniversary every single year? Have
Not
you
quite
done a
every single year. Not quite every single year because we opened in 2019. And so before we even got to our first anniversary, it was 2020 and we had been had pandemic. So we didn't do an in-person anniversary in 2020, obviously. It was June of 2020. So it was still very scary outside.
Very much.
No vaccines, none of that. So we didn't do in person for our first anniversary. Our second anniversary, which was 2021, we also did not, even though things were starting to improve by then, it was still very, very early in we want to call it the post-COVID era or whatever.
Right.
So it was still very early. We still really weren't sure what people were doing and moving and shaking and stuff like that. And we also were concerned that we weren't going to have the infrastructure to be able to carry out a safe, non-COVID infested event. So we chose to go virtual in 2021. 2022, which is the event you were at last year, was actually our first in-person event since pandemic, was 2022. But I think probably the reason around a lot of the nerves that I get for any kind of in-person event, for one thing, I'm a perfectionist and I'll go ahead and call myself out on that. We are working on it in therapy. But you want it to go good. And I think a lot of people do not realize that there's so much production that goes with scheduling an event. No matter where you have it, how many people you have helping you, it's got to move and it's got to shake. And last year I was running my business 100% by myself. My ex-business partner had stepped down at the beginning of that year. And so I was 100% full throttle doing everything, just me, just Jessica. This year I feel better about it. One, because I kind of have some systems on the ground that are moving and shaking. Because now that I'm on my own, I'm able to do more of the things that I want to do structure-wise. So by the time we got to when it was time for us to do anniversary stuff, we kind of had a smoother layout and a smoother foundation to begin with. Whereas last year, I feel like I was reacting to a lot of stuff. This year, I'm more proactive as far as handling my business. I look 1 or 2 quarters ahead if I can. Whereas last year, I was just trying to get to month. So I would say that's like probably one of the bigger differences this go around is that I have systems in place. I do have a little bit more of a team now to help leading up to the event. So that's also been helpful.
All right, very well. I feel like, yeah, there's probably two schools of people in this case. Some who have tried to run an event or have run an event to some extent. I think hopefully a lot of what you just said resonates. Try to, whatever happened one year, try to, evaluate and improve the next year. Yeah, especially the perfectionist one. I think a lot of people can resonate with it. I am definitely I think I'm a little bit further in my recovery, but I'm still one of those. So I totally get it. I think others will too. And then also getting help, like delegating and having a team, like that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Even I mean, really, let's stay on that. Like, are you someone who struggled to hand off a little bit? Or like, it was yeah, go ahead.
Struggled actively, continuing to
Yeah,
work on. Like you said, you're like in your perfectionist recovery journey.
yeah.
I am. I'm very much so like, welcome. I'm here at the meeting for the first time, guys. My name is Jessica, and I'm
I
a
just
yeah. Like I would say I've just started taking steps towards recovery, maybe over like the last like couple of months or so, maybe.
right. Okay.
Like that was like when I first started going back to therapy. My therapist was like, "So when you come back?" And I'll be like gotten reacquainted and everything because she was my therapist when I was younger as well. I like went back, and she was just like, "So when you come back, we're gonna talk about why you feel like you gotta be perfect." And I'm like,
Dang.
"Why? Like this is good." Like, but it's hard for me to hand things off and delegate. But honestly, like the bigger your business gets or like the bigger your brand gets, whatever the thing is that you're doing, it could be renting a house, like going from renting like a 1-bedroom apartment to a 4-bedroom apartment or something, like whatever the thing is, the bigger a beast becomes for you, you kind of start to not necessarily care less, but you realize that you have bigger fish to fry. Like, I recognize that there's no need for me to sit here and agonize over who's doing the ticketing check-in. Just make sure someone's there and knows how to use the event right. Like, just make sure somebody can do it. It does not have to be exactly how I would do it. So, yeah, I would say I have trouble delegating things and handing things off, but I try to just not put weight on every single thing now. Like, I'm like, we are not curing cancer here. We are not stopping the glaciers from melting. Like, we are not keeping oil from going into the lakes. Like, it is a magazine. It is a networking event. It is a happy hour. Like, it is fine as long as the building does not catch on fire. As long as the building does not catch on fire, as long as people enjoy themselves, nobody gets to fighting or something, like, you know what, some of this will just be fine. So like I've definitely learned as far as my delegating goes to like pick and choose the thing that I want to like about.
All right. Now, what was the origin story of Audacity? And it's funny, like I asked that question like I've never heard it before, but it's definitely a story. So, what is the story of how Audacity came to be?
So once upon a time in 2018, um, so my ex-business partner, who I'm still friends with, Manzi, she and I, we were working for another company. We were working for another magazine that wanted to figure out how they could engage millennials. And we had tried a couple initiatives that like really did not pan out. And I won't get into like how this was before I knew anything about like algorithms and like how they work. So who knows if like any of those initiatives are even seen by millennials, but long story short was they want us to like make an actual program with an actual plan and this and this and this, right? So what she and I did was we put together this plan, everything, and as we were putting together the plan, we were like, oh, this is a bigger beast than what we thought it was. This really could be like its own thing. And at the time, she had just graduated undergrad, I had just graduated grad school. And we were looking for skin in the game in the company. We were definitely hungry. We were definitely looking for like, okay, like we are no longer interns. Like, and at that point we were not at that time interns. We were contractors with the company, but we were like the two, like the right and the left hand, basically. So we were like, okay, this is a good opportunity for us to ask if we can get some skin in the game here and see if like this is something that like we potentially could like, buy into or buy out and own ourselves in the future. So as we realized how big it was getting, we took it back to our boss and we we're like, we want to do this and everything, but we need bigger skin in the game now because this is a thing. This whole thing is a thing. And for the easiest way to say it, we were basically told, no, you cannot do that. We were basically told, no, you cannot do that. We were also told that we were not going to be successful if we did it on our own, if we chose to leave the company and do it ourselves and everything. We were like, okay, well, when you put it that way, we just gonna get out of the way then, like, we're not gonna be able to come to a compromise here. We eventually, we try to do some talks and go back and forth about it and everything, and the final offer, the best and final, was 21% ownership per person, for me and for Manzi, and then the company would still own the other 48% of the shares. 48%? No, more than 48. It would be 52%.
78.
70, 21%, and then
oh no, I'm messing up too. 42
so
58.
When writers try to do math, so collectively,
I actually know math, so I'm actually I gotta edit that one out. Like that was terrible. Oh man.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big L over here. Yeah.
Oh God, it's okay. We can't all do these things at 6 o'clock on a Friday.
Right.
Wait, it's not Friday. Do we do bloopers for this?
Oh, we definitely leave it on this.
Because there's no way. Oh God, there's no way that can make the final cut. I mean, it could. I'm not gonna be angry, but
it will. I mean, I have to make even if it don't make the fight, it's going to go on Instagram.
It's gotta go somewhere.
Right. Just so you know.
That was nuts. Oh God. Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Again.
Right.
Okay.
And
so, walking it back, we were offered 21% a piece, which I think was 42% total, and then the company would have had 58%.
58. Yeah. 58. 58. It's 58.
Okay, 58%. So we were like, we're not really comfortable. In addition to that, the additional caveat was that we would have to potentially risk forfeiting our shares if we left the company at any point. Now, mind you, at the time, we were not being paid enough to stay at the company. We were not full-time employees. We were contractors. We were part-time. We were filling out 1099s. We were not in any way, shape, or form in good shape to leave the company and forfeit shares. But we also weren't getting paid enough to stay at the company. So, the whole thing was just kind of a recipe for it still going the other direction. And we were like, if we could have a better buyout option, if we could have 25%, then that would be more ideal. We are not 18-year-old kids, just eager to get a shot and everything. We're actual adults with actual expenses. Mind you, this is Atlanta in 2018 when gentrification was at that point, cost of living had gone up 70% since 2012. And we were fresh out of school. So we were like, listen, we are actually looking to do things for our actual careers now. Right. There's no promise that we're going to be taking on as full time. And at that point, we had also, we had found out some other stuff that I probably shouldn't go into on camera. But it was not an ideal situation that we felt comfortable or protected in that. And so when we said, if we can get 25 a piece, then we might be more apt to do that and a better buyout deal. And I was told verbatim, that is crazy and unreasonable. You are such a millennial. And I was like, bet. Okay. If that's what we're doing, that's fine. We clearly have reached an impasse and everything. Please take this MOU and sign it. And we were, and at that point, we actually had to turn over everything that we had worked on leading up to that point. They're like, it's intellectual property of the company. You were paid by us to do this. I was like, well, we technically worked on this off the clock, so like it's not, but whatever. Like you can have whatever you want. And my aunt, she was in communications at Coca-Cola. She was a communications exec, and I was staying with her at the time and like really just trying to like seek advice from her because was very well versed in business. She was like, honestly, give them back whatever they ask for. God will give you another name, because we also originally lost the name for Audacity was not Audacity.
Right.
Audacity was originally called Entry Level. It was really just supposed to be like a mini blog and a bunch of like little networking events and stuff leading up to that. That we were supposed to be doing like in a potential partnership with another company as well, with one of the mothership's company's partners. So she was like, it's fine. God will give you another name, give back everything, and start over. So we did. And finally, we finally put two and two together about like what we wanted the name to be. We were like, that's it. Like we were called crazy. We were called unreasonable. We were called stupid millennials and all that stuff. And I don't think that the company expected that we were going to just be like, okay, well, thank you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Right.
And they were like, oh, we had the audacity, da-da-da-da. I'm like, that's the name. Yeah, that's the name. So that's how we came up with the name Audacity. And then from there, we started building everything up, literally from scratch, literally from ground zero. We had to come up with a new name, had to come up with a new kind of format, all the things. So that's how it ended up being its own magazine. And then we added the event caveat, obviously, because it's one of the ways that magazines make money. So, we knew that we wanted something that was very networking event-like, but we also want to make sure we had content to support it in between events. So that's kind of how we built everything. And at the time, I had just graduated from grad school, unemployed, and Monzi, she had just graduated college, but she was taking class to get a certification. I think she was doing I can't remember what she was doing at the time, but she was taking a class or something else. So she was working on that, and then I ended up having to move back to my parents' house in Columbus, Georgia, because I couldn't get employed at the time. I had a hard time with it. So I moved back. I was working at Pure Bar in the morning and teaching dance classes to kids between 3 and 14 at night. And so on my breaks in the afternoons, I would be in my childhood bedroom at my desk working on building Audacity.
That's It's like, man, I done turned into NPR how I built this. That's really an amazing story, and that's actually wild. You put in some details I didn't previously wasn't privy to. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. But again, this is why I do these type of interviews. I feel like other people need to hear these stories. Usually when I'm talking with somebody there, even if even if we're not millionaires yet, we're doing things, you know what I'm saying, at this point. And you would think, oh, it's just I just woke up and God gave me this idea and I just went, nah.
No, business is messy. It's messy, yeah. It's personal. Anybody who says oh, it's business, not personal, yes and because there's something about that person that you do not want involved in your business.
Yes,
it is 1,000% a level of personal. It's 1,000% level of personal. You can't build businesses without relationships, and having not good relationships with people, a bad reputation will destroy your business. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't learn anything from starting this company, is that it's all personal, it's all messy, none of this happens overnight at all. Right. And honestly, even when you get to the 4-year mark, we do, full transparency, guys, I still don't take a check for my business yet. I'm not there. I'm simply not. My business is doing well. It's definitely performing, but it's not at the level to where this has made me rich yet. You have to really be willing to get in the dirt and stay there for a while.
Right. Now, and then, that time period will come and you will look back on all the seeds that were planted and reaping those. But yes, you got to be in there long term. You got to be willing to be in there long term. That's amazing. So so at this point, you recognize that events are a good way to expand. What is a somewhat of a time frame as far as what you originally had planned, and then realizing, okay, well, let's expand and offer these, and even if you're willing to kind of tease the next evolution as you step in, I guess, stepping into year 5?
Okay, yeah. So our original setup, we knew that like what we didn't like about what other companies did with networking events is that was like all this like extra frou-frou and like, it's at like the most upscale places and all that stuff. And like all those things are fine and good. They're not inherently bad things to do, but it makes it less accessible to other people. And like at the time, again, it's 2018. So this is like, it was 2018 when we started building. We established in 2019. So, at that point, millennials were not really in the financial position to do those things. We were not. Like, most millennials were not even 35 yet. Like, they were just had not hit their financial strides yet. So we wanted to create a space where millennials could be seen, heard, and understood. And do all that for an affordable rate. So, and to this day, we still make sure that our events are very affordable. So we were like, okay, like what's like something we can do? Like we had a couple of misses. We definitely had a few fails. We had a game night that failed. We had I think we called it like a pregame party because it was like by the Brave Stadium and everything like that. And it was basically supposed to be like a happy hour. Failed. It also failed. And so we were like, we need something that's going to be a little bit more of a hook. And what is it? Like not only is what's going to sell, but what's going to like get people like interested in stuff. And we came up with the roundtable talk format. So roundtable talk for anybody who's just now getting to know us here at Audacity. Roundtable talk was a open forum, literally a roundtable discussion on very specific topics that affect the millennial and Gen Z workforce. So the very first one we came up with was at the Ponce Market. We made it very like not exclusive, but like exclusivity sells. So like we didn't reveal the location, I think, until like maybe like 2 nights before. And we took the payment through PayPal and all this stuff. It was very mysterious. But it was called Roundtable Talk, and the theme was love, sex, and work. And so it's like, okay, like how are you supposed to have like a great sex life and a great dating life, while also trying to build your career? Like how many of you guys have done the walk of shame to the office after a good Wednesday night, So, and, for lack of a better term, sex sells, as we know. Like, so it was a really good way to hit off first. And we also had struck a really nice deal at the Ponce Market with Citizen Supply, where we were able to actually get the lounge semi-free. We paid for like our drinks and everything like that, but we basically were able to like make a reservation for 15 people and use the projector and everything like that. And that was the sad thing about this, when we finally struck gold about it, is that it was February of 2020. So after we did that, we were prepping for like a whole nother another roundtable talk, potentially at the same place or somewhere close by. Like we were gonna like continue with that format, because that was like, it was our first like super successful in-person event. We're like, okay, we have a format now, right? And then COVID hit, and we're like,
right, let's go. We about to build off of February. We about to
yeah, exactly. But it actually ended up being a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because what COVID brought with it was people dying for connection and dying to like, again, not to like be even more seen and heard than they were at these events. And so we were able to reach a wider audience because it wasn't limited to just people in Atlanta. So we went virtual and we did these roundtables, and we really started like picking topics that like were getting more and more close to like what was going on. So like we did a COVID topic, and like we would bring in special guests. We did like topics on like siblings, and we had an aunties one, because at the time we were Black and Indian owned, and Black and Indian culture when it comes to like the auntie culture is very, very similar, which I did not know at the time, but like, having an Indian partner was like, I was able to discover those similarities. I'm like, girl, like, it's no wonder we get each other. Like, so we had like an aunties one. We like got like different aunts and like put them on a panel and everything from both of our cultures, as well as like from cultures outside of us and everything. And it was such a good event. It was such a good event. It drew a lot of really good people. And so 2020 actually helped Audacity make money and thrive and do more roundtable stuff. So then we get around in 2021, and like Roundtable Talk is doing kind of okay, but at that point we had subscriptions. So subscriptions were keeping Roundtable Talk floating. Finally, we got to 2021, folks were like, we want to go back in person. We want to go back in person. I'm like, we got to get some infrastructure under our belts to do that. So we were trying to figure out like some different like gimmicks and different ways that like we could like bolster our finances, and 2, just bolster our system. So we started doing pop-up shops. I think we did our first pop-up shop at like the end of 2021, or maybe end of 2020. I can't remember. I think it was end of 2020. We started doing like our first pop-up shops and stuff like that, where we sold like Audacity merch like this, and like we have like bags and shot glasses and that kind of thing. And we released new merch, and people like the merch and everything. So like we kind of started building out that way. And then by the time we got to top of 2022, that's when I felt like the format was starting to get stale. Like we went back to in person. Obviously, Anniversary did great. Virtual was doing kind of okay, and I'm like, okay, I have to get this together. I'm running my business by myself. I have less manpower. I have less resources. Like, I have to figure out how I can get this company back to in person. So once we did that in 2022, we're like, okay, cool. We're in. We got it, and let's keep up the momentum, which I did find to be challenging at certain points. But by the time we got to the end of 2022, it was very clear to me, at least, that the roundtable talk format had gotten kind of stale. People were tired of virtual. It was too expensive to put on, honestly. I had one in-person roundtable talk that it just wasn't gonna get it. There's no other way to say it. Like, it was not rocking and rolling the way that I thought was viable to do. So like, we tried to change the format to like kind of how we had it originally in 2020, which was, we have a beautiful venue. We have room for people to kind of like sit together. We also had like a screen so that we had a smart screen so we could include our virtual audience and stuff. And we had like brunch bites and all that. So like, it was definitely cute. It was definitely like a good setup. But one of the things that I'm discovering, especially with how content is moving right now, is that we spent a very lengthy period where we were all traumatized as a community, and we wanted to talk it out and talk about our feelings, blah, blah, blah. Now everybody's done with that. Very much like BLM, everybody's like, okay, we're tired of talking about it. We have all educated each other and ourselves, blah, blah. It's time to be about that action now. Like, right. So from there, I was like, I decided once I got to 2023, I'm trying to remember when our final roundtable talk was. It might have been like January or something. Roundtable talk is over. It's never coming back. Like, it's not what I feel like my audience wants anymore. Okay. But what I did do, and I will kind of like, I guess it's not really that much of an announcement because we've been doing them. I did beta test a workshop at the end of last year, and that did it. So people no longer want to share knowledge. People want to get knowledge. They want to learn how they can become an expert in whatever the thing is. They want to know like how they can build some kind of skill so that they can make more money, so on and so on. So not only are we moving into the workshop, but if you watched my interview with Mariela Perez Calderon last month, or was it last month? Earlier this month. Then folks will also know that we will be starting online courses very soon.
Nice.
Very master class, yeah. And I'll announce this even further. There is going to be a free resume workshop masterclass coming up very where you will also get the link to my Fiverr account if you want extra work and support with your resume. So
okay. All right. And how much is that resume workshop again?
It is a free master class. You will only pay if you end up working with me directly on your lovely resume and cover letter and LinkedIn profile.
There you go. Very good. Very good. So that's just one example of something to sign up for. Definitely going to get into those subscriptions. But so you do something called Real Talk Tuesdays. About how long have you been doing it?
Hot Take Tuesday.
Hot Take Tuesday.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, Hot Take Tuesday. Not long, honestly. I think I started that like last month. I knew that. So I called one of my friends because I felt like my content was not. It was so funny because at the time we were doing a content that converts workshop with Christy Ray that we were planning and stuff. And I'm like, well, shoot, my content don't convert. My content has not been converting the way it went today. Like, and everybody knows that like we were all in on reels and stuff to like get engagement and get followings and get this and get this. And I'm like, okay, I have almost 1,000 followers and I got 15 subscribers. This don't make no doggone sense. Like, what is going on here? So I called one of my friends. Like, we often soundboard each other for our businesses and stuff. And I was just like, Look, it's like, I need to know, is my content missing the mark? Like, what is it? Because I feel like the website is excellent. I feel like the product is excellent. Like, maybe it's my social media because that's where most of my engagement comes from, but it's not pushing to the next thing. And so I was like, what I need you to do is I need you to look at my business, look at all of my stuff, and poke every hole in it that you can find. Now it took a minute because she was trying to be nice about it. I was like, don't worry about hurting my feelings. Like, I don't want you to ask me probing questions. I don't want you to like, try like get me to figure out the answer. Look at this as if you are a judge on Shark Tank and tell me what the problems are. And I don't want solutions either, like, because I have an idea as to what my solutions could be. I know what I can and cannot do within my bandwidth. I need to know every single thing that's wrong with this business. And the main thing she told me was that my social media content was unclear. And I'm like, okay, which social media content? She was like, your stills are very clear. Your stills are all about your offer. However, your reels are not. She was like, your reels, they're entertaining, they're cute, they're funny and everything, but they don't have a means to an end. Once someone is done watching it, they are done with you. I'm like,
It was like, did I really?
Like, she was right. So I was like, okay, so like, what is it that I should be putting in these? Like, she was like, I would like to see more advice. Like, you've done like audacious tips from time to time. Make more of that kind of content. Like, do some advice, do some like something that has a means to an end. Either tie it to like business advice and business tips that folks may or may not get, whether they're, easy access things to make people want to come to your events and easy access things to make people want to subscribe. And also make sure you're tying your reel back to your offer in some kind of way. I'm like, okay. And I'm not gonna lie, like, she went wrong. Like, my content definitely, like, I definitely started seeing, like, maybe not necessarily like more engagement, but better engagement. It was definitely better. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I want to shout out. I got to shout out Backpack Jeff. That's where I learned this from. Basically, what you're describing is call to action. Like at the end, it was what to do about it. Now, my question for you, as you continue, excuse me, as you continue your point, did you not do it because you were nervous to do that? Some people are scared to ask for the sell, or was it just I wasn't thinking about that yet.
Honestly, I hadn't thought about it. Like, some of my reels, they do tie to the offer, but not all of them. Some of them, like, I definitely made to kind of like with the idea of like breaking up the sales, but all that does is confuse your user and probably confuses the algorithm. So yeah, that would be the reason. I think I just wasn't providing as much value as I could have. I didn't want to really like give away a whole lot of information for free, but something like that as like a little bit of like a teaser. So like what you could get as part of the Audacity team, or by attending an Audacity event or anything, like it doesn't all lead to the same thing. I also felt like I was posting in a silo a little bit. So with my team, the new rule is if we have an event going on, it's not just going to be me posting about the event. Everybody has to post the event to their story with the link to the event every single day. Every single day. And when it comes time for us to actually have an event, you're going to post the flyer to your page and you're going to pin it. Right. It's going to sit there until the event is over.
Right. Okay.
So far, I have to do some analysis and like look at everybody's insights to see like what that will look like. And I won't know obviously until the event is over next week. Right. But we're going to see. Wait, did I answer the question? I have no idea if I answered the question.
Absolutely. I feel like I jumped off. So I was asking, how long had you done it? And we hadn't got right. But we know what you talked about. So we haven't really got to that. So yeah, you've been doing it for about a month. I legit, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Please keep doing that. So it just so happened that the one you did, this is Tuesday, where this was recorded, and you were talking about the this very relatable, okay, we're in a recession again. I've dealt with two of them professionally. We're in this recession, so that means we're back to an employer's market, which means you got to overperform because there's somebody very hungry that's right on the other side looking for opportunity, and all these things are true. But then we manipulate it into you got to do the most, don't ask for anything for it. Don't ever rest on your laurels, don't ever slack up a minute, all that type of stuff. And your point was what?
They don't care. These employers and these corporations do not care. Like in the layoffs that I have seen with my own eyes throughout my career, yes, some of those layoffs or firings were justified because people were simply not doing their jobs. And then there were simply people that they just wanted to get rid of them for whatever the reason was. So there's no point. It's just like when you're in high school and you want to be in with the cool kids and everything. So you try to do all this cool stuff to be with the clique and everything like that. And sure, you might get in, but that doesn't mean that they care about you.
Right.
But you're in, right? But you're in. But the minute things start getting hot, you will be the first one out.
Mm-hmm.
You will be the first one out. So the way I see it, when it comes to working in corporate right now, if they want to fire you, they're simply going to.
Right.
It does not matter how good you are at your job. These are corporations, and what they're worried about is bottom line. They're not worried about your feelings. They're not worried about how much you love being there. They don't care if you're a cheerleader or anything like that. Sure, it might cushion you a little bit, but it's not something that you can depend on. So you might as well just continue to do your job and do your job well, and then go home and be happy.
Right.
Might as well just continue. It's very much so like everything else. If he had complied, then maybe he would have been murdered. Well, he also complied and he got murdered.
Right.
Same thing. If you just follow the company rules and you show that you're going to be indispensable and everything like that. I mean, even when you're applying for jobs, 9 times out of 10, if your resume is tight, your cover letter is tight, you presented yourself well and everything, 9 times out of 10, your interview or your application was probably fine. They just didn't pick you.
Right. Right.
They just didn't pick you. In this case, 9 times out of 10, if you get laid off or fired, especially if it's due to budget cuts or trimming the fat or whatever you want to call it, it's about to ruin your life for a few months.
Inconvenient, right.
You were probably doing fine. You were probably doing fine, and you just got chosen.
Right.
You just got chosen. That's life. Yeah. And I say this as somebody who's only 28 years old, but I've been working now for about 10 years. In very different work environments. I have been a waitress. I have been a dance teacher. I have been an intern at a magazine. I've done a lot of very just very odd jobs. I've done retail. I've done a lot of stuff. And again, 9 times out of 10, if somebody is fired in a recession, to be very specific, in a recession, there's probably nothing you could have done about it.
No.
Unless you just suck at your job. If you're just trash, then that's your fault.
We're not really talking to you at that point.
If you're just trash, you should know that you get, again, that also shouldn't be a surprise. You're getting fired then, if that's the case. But yeah, I think today's Hot Take Tuesday was all about that. If they want to fire you, they're going to fire you. It's just like dating. If he, we always say, if he wanted to, he would.
Right.
And if they want to fire you, they might not even necessarily want to fire you, but they've decided that you are the chosen one to be fired, they gonna do it. So you might as well do whatever you want. You might as well take your PTO. The more budget that they cut, the more budget they have free. Still ask for stuff. Still ask for your bonus. Ask for your raise. And if you get told no, ask for something, some little cushion in between time. Right. Ask for a gift card. Ask for something. Ask for something as you continue to prove yourself to be indispensable. Yes, still work hard, still do your thing and everything. But once it's all said and done, whatever will be, will be.
Right. And so what's powerful, and so then even the high school analogy is so perfect, because the last thing you want to do, besides the what could I have done different, the one that's going to really hurt is if you look back and say, was that worth it? And you can't say yes. You feel like it wasn't. And that's what happens. I mean, professional is a relationship, right? And so I did this, I did that, I did this, and I don't have anything to show for it. That's when the regret really sets in. I'm probably going to always find an opportunity to bring back the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that was the book from which I learned the win-win proposition, where we're the best relationship. We are both working for it to work for us immediately. It's not, I'm gonna spend a first year proving myself and then wait for them to catch up. It's not, I'm gonna screw them over and then eventually we'll get back to, like, you're going from the beginning. How does this make sense for both of us? And if it doesn't, is that work? And doing this whole jump out the window, serve them, like this is what coming to America. It's not it. Like, that's not it. You're not serving no prince, no king. Like, especially because I think one of the last situations I went through of where I was expected and manipulated into saying that's the way, they got rid of my boss too. Like, like it was before me. I mean, I'm sorry, it was after me, but it's like, okay, how powerful, how important is this person really? They not, you know what I mean? So
at one of my old jobs, they fired my manager. Like, he knew that they wanted to get rid of him. He knew that they hated him and everything like that. But they fired him in a way that was so nasty. That was so nasty. We started leaving in buckets, myself included. As soon as we found other stuff, we were like, bye, bye, and bye, because it was a very toxic company. It was a global company, and it was very toxic, very mentally and verbally abusive of an environment. And like, that guy was the last line of defense between us and global. Those were the toxic people, was the folks in global. We had a couple of toxic sprinkles in local, but global was like the problem. And the minute they got rid of him, we were like, huh.
Oh, yeah, we next.
Don't even say to me. They're like, so if y'all can get rid of him and y'all, try and sit here and act like it's such a nice thing, it's an okay thing, this, and this, or whatever, y'all can get rid of him. What does that say about the rest of us? And how easily y'all can get rid of us? Bye. Like, we will not stick around to find out. We are not going to F around and find out.
Right.
We started leaving in boats.
Right.
That might not age well. That might not age well. God. We just.
I love it. And I actually think, you know what makes it even better?
Do tell. What is it?
Do you see what's on my shirt?
Oh, God.
Yo, this is amazing.
Ooh, by choice. In this case, it is by choice.
All right, that's right. It's different, right? That didn't help because slavery is a choice. This, you know what? Just stop.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, God. Well, if we don't get canceled after this Jamel thing.
This is it, right? I'm about to rest this for tomorrow, right ahead of this shit.
Oh, God.
I love it. No, I love this. No, I love this because you know what? And that's another thing too. It's like, it's too much, historically, it was too much. It has to be presented this perfect image. And let me point out there's so many examples, but Ellen DeGeneres.
Well,
Ellen DeGeneres spent she played the role so well, we thought that was her. And I don't remember when the first article came out where people finally was like, man, I can't take this no more. Like, let me tell y'all what this environment is like in the background. And it's just like, man, that's crazy. And it's like, how did you ruin a great thing with this energy? I guess they felt like that's why it got there. We have to crack the whip on people. We have to, threaten them. I gotta yell at y'all and all that. But it's like, do you really think so? Because y'all, like, there's no Ellen should have been about 70 and still doing the Ellen DeGeneres, everybody dancing. And that shit is done. It's wild. Like, so I say that to say, like, forget the perfect image. Like, authenticity is really actually low key related. Like, whoever's rocking with you is going to rock with you. The people who is not it wasn't for them anyway. This, if saying that, and we all know you didn't actually mean, if that was the thing that put somebody, they weren't really rocking with it anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Because y'all not gonna put out no Netflix documentary on me. Like, y'all will not catch me on no Netflix documentary talking about how Audacity was actually a very terrible place. I'm like,
nah, we jumped ahead of that early. We knew we were recorded. We didn't mean this. This ain't those, right? This ain't that. Now, On the other hand, so this is why I wanted to bring this all the way around. You made that point. It was an amazing point. I just heard, shout out to Kev on Stage and Angel, Here's the Thing podcast. They had told a story, or at least the episode I watched a while ago, but just recently, about a woman from some tech company, some company, and nobody got their bonus. And so, right. And so they're, oh, it's not a tech, excuse me. No, they sell office furniture. So yeah, that's not really it right now. So nobody got their bonus. But they felt away. I guess it wasn't really communicated, such. And then on top of that, guess who got their bonus?
The CEO, I'm
Right.
sure. Of
Right.
course.
Of course. Now, maybe it was a slightly less bonus, a few less meal than the normal meal, but it still came over. I'm still setting up my trust fund for my kid. What y'all talking about? I get a bonus, right? So
Right.
so they got on a Zoom call, and I don't know if the Zoom call was specifically just for that, but due to this scenario, it got recorded. And obviously, she didn't think it got recorded because of what she said. So she's like, yeah, first of all, she was like, you can only control the things that you can control. Chick, you can give us a bonus.
You're the CEO.
You can
Like,
press the button to give us a,
you
but she
are
was
the
talking about them.
CEO. Who's
They
in
can't
charge? The
control
board? Who
it.
is it?
They can't
It's the
control
board.
that they didn't get a bonus. So, and then she's like, but but that still shouldn't stop you from rolling up your sleeves. And I don't know if like the clip flip or she just, right?
I hope she immediately.
Right.
I hope somebody done put all kinds of TikTok reactions on her, like,
Right.
I
And
get
you
the
did right.
power.
Right. I might look that up. That's a great point. That's a great point. That's a great point. It got worse. You thought, and that was enough for you. It got worse. So it's like the clip I heard. I don't know if they fast forwarded or just she ran. You ran out of gas, ran out of battery charge. She stopped trying to be professional. She was like, "Look," he said, "you can't sit up here and stay in Pity City. You can live in. You can visit Pity City." But you can't stay there. So stop feeling sad for yourselves. Roll your sleeves back up and let's get back to some goal like 21 million or whatever. Like, I guess that because they didn't meet their goal, that's why they didn't get their bonus. So like stop whining, work hard, and this time you're gonna get your bonus. If anybody's dumb enough to believe that. This really happened. I have to go find this link because she probably said something crazy. This is a white woman. She probably said something crazy that see this one. That was it. All right, that was everybody smart. She didn't say that. Audacity, not that was me.
If she was a Karen, she was a Karen though. Now we ain't gonna sit here and pretend now. If she was being a Karen, she was being a Karen, and that's
No, that's a fact, right?
That's
And I stand
Audacity
on
Magazine in events.
it. And I stand on it. So no, she probably said something crazier than anything I can recap. So no, it was like those, and I remember my experience. And it was just I can laugh at it now because I don't have to deal with it. And I realize I'm so blessed that I realized that that is not the way. And I'm glad and I appreciate that. For as bad as corporate America can be, that's becoming less and less the norm. Like that's not the only type of environment you have to be in to feed your family. So so it was just perfect timing. I really that's why I saw it and I was like, no, we got to talk about this one because it was just on point. So salute to you for that. For sure, for sure. So, all right, now we're getting to the call for action of the episode. All right, so you got the events. Obviously, those who are local, we want you all to sign up for the events. But also one of your major points, revenue, are subscriptions.
Yes.
So please just let the people know like what are these subscriptions? What are the details? What is it? What do they need to know?
Yeah. So basically, like if you love all things Audacity, you want to be a subscriber. It's called the Audacity Team. You'll be surprised how many ways you can find ways to say Audacity when you own a business called Audacity. But It's called the Audacity Team. So in the Audacity Team, you get 2 free events per month, which y'all, the way this economy going, you're gonna save about $20 a month. And I know that we all need to save a little $20 every month.
There you go.
So, you're gonna save roughly $20 to $25 per month. With that subscription, it's $10.99 a month for a subscription package.
Mhm.
$10.99 per month, and
Mhm.
you get
My poetry group only $10.99. That's not that crazy for real.
right. Like it's
Yeah.
like $10.99. Like we cheaper than Netflix. Okay, we cheaper than bottomless mimosas.
Right.
And I know y'all be having bottomless mimosas. I be seeing
Right.
folks eat. Like
Right.
I go to I told my friends, I was like, now I go to dinner with some of y'all. I know y'all got $10.99 a month.
Right.
No,
Right.
you haven't.
Got
I know you haven't.
Right. You got $10.99 today on that
Yeah.
joint.
So like you get 2 free events per month. You also get we have what's called Power Hour, which
Mhm.
is our bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks is our virtual accountability group. So every 2 weeks we get together in Google Meet, whatever that thing is you've been procrastinating on. Maybe it's a task for your business, maybe it's a task for your house, maybe you just need to exercise. You will do it here with us, and we will keep each other accountable.
Right.
So that's every other week at about 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. So you have Power Hour, and that's subscriber only. So you get that perk. You also get into our WhatsApp group chat. You also, where you can plug your business, by the way, like it's a group chat. So everyone's able to like share, get advice, invite people to things for their business. That's the utility of the group chat. You also get a free annual gift. You get free shipping on merch. And our annual gift was so cute this year. It was a monthly mantra calendar, which we made exclusively for the Audacity team. It was printable. You get to fill it out, and it's got a mantra for every month. You also get your own team newsletter. And in addition to that, this one is like probably one of the most important things. If you have a small business, your small business will be automatically featured on what's called our fetch list. Fetch list, which is a spin on Mean Girls, absolutely, because we're millennials. The fetch list is our list of, it's a contact sheet of vendors, entrepreneurs, service providers, and small business owners that you can go into that list. You can access it for free. You can go in there and find somebody to contact for a job that you want done. So like, let's say you're looking for a hairstylist. We got hairstylists in the fetch list. You can go and find them and pull their information out. But that entry, if you want to put your business on the fetch list, is $15.99 for us to put it on there. One-time payment for 1 year. If you are on the Audacity team, though, you have a permanent listing in the fetch list for free. And you automatically get that. You just have to tell us, hey, I would like to be on the fetch list, and we put you on. And the list is now public access. I believe it's audacitymagazine.org/fetch-list. So it's on there for anybody who's looking for someone to contract and they want to support a millennial, Gen Z small business owner. That's where it is. But yeah, so that's what you get. It's a monthly payment of $10.99 per month. It goes out from the day that you book it. So it's not going to be like specifically like on the 1st or the 30th or whatever. So you can choose your payment date that works best for you. It's also no contract, so you can cancel at any time. You're not going to, but you can cancel whenever you want. And you also, it's free cancel, and it's free cancellation, so fee to cancel.
Right. So very good. Look, so we talk about $10.99, and she had to like, what about that's a lot of perks. Like that is a lot of perks, you know what I mean? So no, amazing offer, amazing deal. So there's so between the events and the subscription, where do they go to sign up for either or both?
So if you want to sign up for an event, you can go on, for both things, you will go on audacitymagazine.org, regardless. If you want to sign up for an event, you can go to our upcoming events tab and sign up there. If you want to join the Audacity team, you will also click on the drop down and you will click on join the Audacity team, or you can go to audacitymagazine.org/memberships and you can get it there.
Very good. Perfect. All right. And so they know where to go for the magazine. Is there anywhere specific they should go for you or your content as far as the social media?
Yes. Follow us. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Those are our primary accounts. We're also on LinkedIn if you guys want to follow us in a more like professional format, I guess, if you will. But all the juicy stuff is on Instagram. So that's at Audacity Mag Online, MAG online. Our Facebook, I believe, is at Audacity LLC. LinkedIn, it's also just Audacity Magazine and Events. You can find us there if you just tap us in the search.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, yeah, Hot Take Tuesday is on IG. Do you post? Do you ever post those on Facebook?
Uh, they don't. Well, no, that's not true. Yes, they do go to Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in
Okay.
Facebook
Okay.
Reels. Yeah.
Okay. But I imagine more. Oh, okay. Yeah, they are. They are
Yeah.
linked.
The
Yeah, they are
majority of our
linked.
content though is always going to be on Instagram. That's where we have
Instagram.
our biggest pool of
It's
folks.
probably
So
where most of the millennials are,
yes.
right? For
Yeah.
sure.
And
For
then like
sure.
we're gonna try like do better with our TikTok and everything. So like if you guys want to follow us on TikTok, go for it, Gen Z. We are gonna get better with it, I promise.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, Instagram is the place to be if you guys want to follow Audacity.
Oh, okay,
I tried.
boys. Now you did that, right? You said, like, and freestyling too. All right, all
A
right. I
little
see.
bit.
I see you. I see you. So did you I feel like, I think you gave us plenty of information. Is there anything as we get ready to legitimately close, is there anything else that you wanted to get off that the people need to know?
Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter. That's how you will know everything that's going on. And make sure you check your spam. If you don't see our newsletter, check your spam and tell the Google Gmail people that we are not spam.
That's man,
So,
right.
yeah, and that newsletter is 100% free. So sign up for it. You will always get our event calendar with all the things that we have coming up, and you'll be able to sign up from there as well.
And how if you said this already, excuse me, but how often can they expect a newsletter?
At least once a month, but we get
Okay.
usually 2 to 3.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right, here we are. Plenty of information, plenty to look forward to. Again, this should be coming up Wednesday or Thursday. And when you all see this episode on Saturday, June 2nd, no,
Third.
3rd. Yes, Saturday, June 3rd. On Saturday, June 3rd, Audacity Magazine is celebrating their 4th anniversary. All right. So if you are in the Atlanta area, pull up
It's
to this
free.
event. It is a free event.
Free.
You can have all the, and I was at the one last year. Really had a great time. Really got to see some other businesses do great things. Just got to see some impressive people. You talk about drinks. There's a gentleman with the I guess organic tequila. Is he around?
Oh man, yeah. So Tolero, we will be partnering with them later on this year.
Okay.
In this case, we're having it at a distillery, so
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
a conflict of interest. But yeah, he'll be back. Then we'll be back
Okay.
very, very soon.
There
I'll
you
tell
go.
people that everybody's asking for him. He'll be back very, very soon. But Independent Distilling, which is also locally owned by
Nice.
Michael and Casey, really great, great, great guys who are always supportive of us. They have curated what is called an Audacity cocktail.
Uh-oh. Talk
And
about it.
it's called the Audacity. It especially runs on the days that Audacity is in the building at Independent Distilling. And it is made of gin, crushed pea flour, simple syrup, and I think cucumber and lime, and like a little bit of I think that's what it is. You guys will see it on our Instagram and everything like that. But
Mhm.
the Audacity cocktail is everything. And I don't just say that because it's my brand or because it's purple. But it was especially created on behalf of us being there as honored customers and guests. And guys, if you have never been to Independent Distilling in Decatur, Georgia, I highly recommend. Whether we are there or not, please pull up on Casey and Michael, tell them that I sent you, and try all of their like amazing like rum and bourbon and now their new gin, which they just recently released. So get into it.
Very good, very good, very good. I like you snuck in P&G, what they say, if you know, you know. Otherwise, yeah, well, don't worry about it, guys. That's I think that I can't believe you. I said, is there anything else important? And you almost didn't mention the Audacity. That's okay. You got it out there. You got it out there. So,
Yeah.
hey, Jessica, I truly appreciate your time. Really excited for Audacity. Congratulations ahead of time on 4 years, and we definitely wishing. Not only are we wishing, but it's going to be many more. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There it is. So this was another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed and have a good rest of your day, whatever day you listen to this, and we'll catch you next time.